Welcome back, Jets Nation. It's your boy Jersey Boy, and we are finally at the draft. So, just to take a quick look at some things prior to us jumping in here and bringing an official change to the season, we take a look at some of the league signings for the top players. We see Melvin Gordon goes to the Cardinals, Kendall Fuller heading over to the Bills, so we'll be seeing him for the next 4 years if he lives out his contract. Ebron goes to the Dolphins. So we have quite a few pickups here already. Derrick Henry also going to the Bills. So they picked up Henry as well as Fuller. So hitting both sides of the field there with some impact players early. No moves from the Patriots so far yet. Ha Clinton to the Dolphins. DeMar Dotson, Austin Blythe, Anthony Browns to the Bills. So they went crazy during this first free agency offseason. So they're going to have some pretty drastic improvements. And we'll take a look at our very short but very impactful offseason of our own. Des Bryant heading out to most likely finish his career with the Bills. CJ Anderson. First Patriot signing, Rodney McLeod Jr. to round out the secondary. La'el Collins for the Bills. So they are really putting up some numbers. Josh Doxson, Anza goes to the Dolphins. So we are seeing a pretty stacked offseason. Prince Amukamara, Dolphins, Robert Mkendichi. Pretty sure I probably shredded that name. Anthony Sherman, just a fullback. Okay. Any Tyler Davison. Okay. Pretty young, actually. I'm sure he's pretty talented in his own right. Alex Okafor. So we can see some trenches getting built up. Kyler Fackrell. That name rings a bell. I want to say he was a late round or undrafted rookie that was supposed to have quite a lot of potential from what I remember checking out on like Bleacher Report. Reggie Ragland heading over to the Patriots. Cody Latimer goes to the Patriots. But Dupree, Dolphins. Okay, so between them, I think that was maybe a third of all the free agent pickups have probably gone to my division. We happen to have picked up Tyreek Hill. And then in addition to that, just trying to find some depth, we picked up Nico Siragusa. We had lost out on a franchise bookend, or at least somebody kind of hold down the fort for us. So we really didn't make as many off-season moves, but I've been prepping since pretty much day one to let everyone know I was not really interested in spending a lot of money in free agency, but that Tyreek Hill contract just basically took the 27 million or so cap space that we had, which was a bit surprising. So, Raiders are on the clock. I want to go ahead and pause things quickly because I do want to see officially. I believe we had picked ninth. Yeah, so we have one in the ninth. We have a ninth and a 26th pick in the second, and a ninth and a 27th in the third. So I have my eyes on the center Jack Barker as one that I don't want to see let go anywhere. If we are going to keep Cody White's white hair, if we're going to keep our center at his current position, if we do miss out on Jack Barker, then we do have some fallback options. So first round pick wise, Gabe Roberson could potentially be a player that we can enter in immediately on the line. I would like to see some things improve, but he's technically proficient. Doesn't necessarily stand out, except he does have a bit of power to him. Um, we have Stephon Cousins, and he looks like he could be another really, really solid lineman for us. He's going to be able to hold them off with that impact block. He has high pass blocking things, so we'll probably have to develop that run trade a bit. In the third, we could potentially find a really good left guard as well, so we don't necessarily even need to tackle that position super early. Um, Not much on the end there though, but Jack Barker is definitely the go-to for me. I would love to see his power higher, but he's young, so at 21, we got a lot that we can do with him. Right guard doesn't look that great for us, and then the right tackle position had nothing. So we're probably gonna have to double down on some positions there. With that said, though, I'm not necessarily looking to really have to trade any picks to secure who we want. And as great as Jack Barker is, they have him as the 23rd rated, but you never know with Madden. So if we don't go there, there are still plenty of great prospects for us to pick from. So with that said, we might as well just go ahead and get into it. And the first pick of the 2020 draft, Oakland Raiders, now Las Vegas Raiders, is going to be Brock Kennedy, the left end. Redskins on the clock. They select Jaden Acosta. So tight end goes second. Might be the highest selected draft pick for a tight end if memory serves right. Everett Scarborough, first wide receiver off the board. I don't remember him being the top ranked. Yeah, LaShawn Bolden was supposed to be the best receiver in this draft, so I'm wondering what might have happened there, or if they felt like maybe he's just a better scheme fit for them. Buccaneers, they happen to take LaShawn Bolden, and you can see he definitely has a few more talent points in him, at least in terms of his overall rating. But I'm sure he's probably a superstar hidden development trait just waiting. Nick Davidson, first defensive back off the board. Bengals pick up Dennis Travis, so they get somebody on the line. We have two picks ahead of us. Let's just kind of see what talent happens to be there. So we have some stud running backs. Tyrell Robinson is interesting as a player that can get off the line, and he seems to be all about being able to bring the ball in, but he did not participate in the combine. Then we have some players that you can miss on. Nothing really vital there. Potentially a quarterback. I didn't really bother scouting those as we're going to really take this season as one where we try to improve Sam Darnold's overall cast. Stephon Cousins is there. We've seen we had some depth at the guard position though, so not a rush. Where did so Jack Barker should still be there for us. Ideally, we have a really good outside backer in Danny Lee. Cornerbacks need to kind of essentially be taken early. And then where's Gabe Roberson? Okay, so he's actually initially pegged as a second round tackle. First round traits though. All right, Vikings select Tyrell Robinson. He's a 73. I'm wondering how that combine played into things. And wow, the Lions swing and miss severely. 64 outside linebacker William Bartell. Well, we were able to hold off without needing to spend any capital. I do want to take a look at potentially some of these trade back offers. We might be able to recoup even more. I know Madden tends to they tend to underwhelm with their trades. That's one thing I would mention has needed to be worked on since forever. I got a top 10 draft pick, and you're telling me the best offer I can get doesn't even include a first round draft pick. All right, so not even worth looking at. It would be great to try to move down though, since Jack Barker hasn't gone this early. With that said, though, we can wait on needing a running back. There's no cornerbacks right now worthy of this pick necessarily. Stephon Cousins would be a great addition to the line. We have some receivers here, some other pieces. So basically, my top three would probably look like Jack Barker, Stephon Cousins. Danny Lee, not necessarily in any particular order. Leonard Hadley would probably be really good as well. Wow. Leonard Hadley looks like a beast. He's just under 4.5 speed, but it's definitely very serviceable, and his acceleration should be really high. Ah, man. If he drops, I wouldn't mind going up for him because the talent in the cornerback position in this draft just falls off a cliff, man. Um, Leonard Hadley. Okay. Yeah, we can hold off. Sam Darnold essentially comes first for us. So with that said, I am going to go ahead and most likely select Jack Barker here. Just want to take one more moment to kind of Casey Lee, whereas Gabe Robinson's still there. And then if we still, most likely Stephon Cousins should get picked up in the first. If he doesn't, I'll be extremely shocked. But Daquan McCoy looks really good as well. Fits our scheme. Quinn Bracken's also really good. He's moves extremely well for a 6'5", 313-pound lineman. So does Daquan McCoy actually, and he benches more. Okay, so yeah, we can definitely hold off on him. All right, so we will be selecting Jack Barker to help set off the official rebuild of this offensive line. And he is a 75 hidden development lineman. So says that we just slightly reached for him. Don't care. He was slated to be the 23rd picked best player. Turns out to be number 10. We get him one slot of where he should be according to his talent. Strength could be better, as mentioned, but the rest of his traits I can definitely work with. Um, Lead blocking, I wish was a bit higher too. Run blocking, not the most technically advanced player. But with that said, I think that balances out with us having a 82 pass block, and then he seems to be a bit better at power than finesse. So very, very happy with what we've been able to do there. So can't wait to get the rest of these picks going. Let's go ahead and see what happens in the next 10 picks or so. So Saints on the board. Saints grab Rayshawn Kemp, cornerback. Buffalo gets Jaden Miller. So they tend to underwhelm on getting a cornerback as well. So the scouting department already failing Buffalo. Stephon Cousin goes to the Titans. So he goes not too long after Jack Barker. Javante Shirley to the Dolphins, and they seem to underwhelm in their pick of a wide receiver as well. Dave Sweet, right in, goes to the Giants. Zach McAllister, so first tackle off the board, goes to the Seahawks, and they continue to underwhelm in being able to scout linemen. Carolina Panthers pick up wide receiver Devion Green. Two highly rated running backs still on the board. Danny Lee still there. Leonard Hadley. Anthony Streets. I'm sure he's a really, really good lineman that probably is top 15 talent. Young player. Okay. So we should have some pretty good talent halfway through, depending on where some of these other players go. And Danny Lee goes to the Ravens. You had to see that coming. Zachary Gordon going to the 49ers. Leonard Hadley goes to the Browns. So they're making a pretty monster secondary over there. Dejon Patterson, first inside linebacker, going to the Eagles. Patriots on the clock. They're selecting Brendan Fontaine. So I've seen a defensive tackle or two in free agency for them as well. So they must be trying to figure out some line depth. Angelo Angulo, outside linebacker to the Raiders. Cardinals pick up Walt Hines. Again, mentioned how bad the cornerback positions looked in the draft. Steelers pick up a linebacker. Anthony Streets goes to the Packers, and he's a 76 overall. 6 picks left in the draft. We still have two very good running backs. That's it, at least in terms of projected first round talents. That should be pretty useful. Now we are starting to get into the ranks of seeing a lot of round one talent that just kind of got overlooked. Um, Definitely interested now in potentially taking a look at a receiver that can sit behind Bell just a bit but still contribute while we look to get younger there. If there's a cornerback that might be useful, we can see as well. But I'm definitely looking at trying to secure a tackle at this point. And I like Gabe Roberson. I'm trying to see where he ended up falling down to here. So he's a bit of the way behind. So I think actually we might be able to scoop up somebody still very useful with our ninth pick in the second. Defensive end goes to Kansas City. Rams select Amari Bullocks. So one of the next best linebackers ending the first round here, at least as we look to end. Another linebacker going to the Jaguars. It's pretty underwhelming for them. Josh Malowski, inside linebacker to the Colts. Looking to pair up with one of the beasts they got from a season or two ago. Justin Hill, receiver, goes to America's team. Falcons on the clock as they had just lost out to the Falcons. Hopefully they get a defensive pick here. And they decided to go offensive line. Quinn Bracken's the guard. So he wasn't as great as what he appeared to be. But that does mean now that we are probably going to have to use one of those 2 seconds to secure the services of that other left guard I wanted. So it's not sexy. Chargers in the last pick in the first round with a cornerback, 68 overall, Joe Whitaker. Not sexy, but depending on how this plays out, we can definitely end up leaving the first 3 rounds, which means we would have finished 5 picks, mostly picking all offensive linemen. I wouldn't necessarily be upset at that. It will definitely give an offense a huge boost of life. Tyreek Hill kind of running rampant. Sam Darnold officially having time to throw, and Le'Veon Bell having an offensive line to open up some holes for him. Hmm. The left guard, I believe, was supposed to be a third round. Yes, with first round talent. Okay. So we can definitely hold off for him, at least for right now. See who's coming off the board next. Chicago Bears go Mike May, defensive line. Connor Bartow to the Colts, defensive tackle. Okay, first running back goes off the board. Shaq Woody, 74 overall, to the Broncos. Buccaneers on the clock. They take the second one, Jaden Lawson. Those were both the top players, I believe. Yep, okay. Texans go Joey Burke. So we're seeing a run on running backs now. George Duval, free safety to the Bengals, and I think they've struck out on back-to-back picks now. Donald Adams to the Vikings, the Lions ahead of us. They go Hal Chamberlain. So once again, let's take a look at what we might have here. And seeing how bad the first round was, I'm not surprised if we have some terrible picks here. We can get a 3 and a 5 this year with a 4th next year. Not necessarily interested. I just want to move back in the second round. 2 next year, 3 this year. The Falcons are willing to give up a 2nd and a 5th to go to the 63rd pick. Indy doesn't mind going up, so we need to take a look at what the 61st and 63rd pick is away from us. All right, well, 32 picks have gone by already. This will make us pick 41, which means we'd have to drop down at the earliest, pick 61, 20 picks. Not really worth it. So, with that said, let's take a look at who we can select. We have a power back that we can go with, which would end up bringing some balance to the running back position. We'd have a new goal line player. Bilal Powell was able to get 6 touchdowns in a very limited role, so some fresh legs will probably do. 4.52 speed, not the worst. Strong legs based on that broad jump. I'd like to see the acceleration a bit better, but he does have 23 reps. Still, though, Gabe Cobb could be paired with Chris Herndon. Doesn't have the best combine. I would definitely love to see sub 4.7 speed, but that size is looking great. It looks like we might have to end up reaching on basically some players here again. Austin Bacon, defensive tackle. Traits aren't necessarily the best that I'd like to see right away. I would love to see maybe a pass rush or block shedding there in the top 3. Gabe Roberson still available, so we got our center of the future, which means we can keep Cody Whitehair as a backup or move him to one of the guards, and then Gabe Roberson can slide in as the new tackle of the future. So the only problem with picking up a bunch of linemen here, even if we hit on all of them, is that means we have however many contracts based on the players we hit on that we need to worry about all in the same off season. Granted, at least Jack Barker gives us that additional 5th year. Then we move into the 3rd. So I think we better not hold off and wait. We will go ahead and take Gabe Roberson. He is a 72 overall, normal development, so a bit sad to see. But he has 89 strength, sub 80 pass block and run block. But he definitely has the talent to develop. That impact blocking is a little bit concerning, though. That means he's not going to be able to really stick to his man that well. But at 6'7", 334, light on the feet. What is he? He doesn't move quite as quick as Jack Barker would, but we will turn him into something serviceable for sure. Now, the next thing we need to decide on is we need to figure out when we want to make a move because I want that left guard. So either we move Gabe Roberson inside to a tackle position, which still means that we're going to a guard position, which still means we're going to miss a guard, or we just keep it as is and then make sure we draft McCoy here as well. There are still some potential, nothing I necessarily care for, but Michael Clayton combine's pretty bad. And Spencer Walton's a bit older than I would like to have drafted. And then the right side was just awful. Still a round 1 talent potentially here in the 4th. Great strength, bit of acceleration, agility in the feet area there. A lot of pass protectors at least here. So basically, we'll need to decide if we want to move up with the 2nd, which we have some later round picks we can throw in there to sweeten the deal. It's just a matter of when. So I'd say if I see 1 or 2 linemen come off the board before, that's 1, before we absolutely need to start considering moving up, then as much as I don't want to spend a pick, I think we'd have to jump on it. Even with this incoming talent, it's still going to take quite a bit of work to get them where we want to. So we have a guard and a center come off the board. So I know the guard we're looking at is supposed to be in the 3rd round, but he's pretty early, and there's only 1, 2, 3. It's only three linemen ahead of us, so we will take the chance here. As soon as the next lineman comes off the board, I'm making a move, and hopefully they don't go. Nobody goes and grabs him before then. If we get to like pick, well, we might not have to actually. We're on the board in about five picks. Gabe Cobb was pretty underwhelming, 68 overall, but he will be going to the Patriots. So they look to reestablish their two tight end sets that pretty much decimated for a while. Spencer Walton goes two picks before we're due. I don't really hoping nobody goes and gets him before us. Steelers, they go outside linebacker. Packers go and grab Daquan McCoy. The game always knows, man. It's just it is much better to just trust your instincts and grab who you feel most comfortable with, because now that means we're gonna have to make some decisions later on. Well, we picked up two impact players, hopefully, on the line. Jack Barker for sure should be good. Gabe Roberson will take a bit more time to pretty much mesh and do what we want him to do. So we have Freddie Gresham. No real standout traits. Combine isn't that great at all either. And he's 24. Deep threat receiver. Pretty good agility and acceleration. But he's also older than I'd necessarily like. Okay, okay, nobody overlooked. Slot receiver. Okay, 4.47 speed. Pretty good vert broad jump. Three cone isn't quite where I would like to see, but he's 21. He can catch, which means that when he is able to get his hands on the ball, he should be able to snag it down. And he has pretty good strength, and that size is pretty it's not something that you see too often from a slot position player. So he could definitely be a look here. He still says he has round one talent. We have a receiver that we can go with who's good in the intermediary and short area with spec catch. Bit older than I like. So we can switch up some things here for sure. We have another man-to-man cornerback. Same kind of situation, awareness, coverage, press. He has 4.52 speed though, 10.2, which I don't think was much higher than. Oh no, it was definitely higher. Oh, actually, I'm brain's not working. Okay, so he's jumping about what 4 inches higher than Brian Hope here. So nothing crazy. Brian Hope definitely seems like the better target if we're going to go for one. But then we have Courtney Ingram or Ingram, same kind of body size as Hope. 4.51 speed though, vert jump slightly better. He has the better agility though, and he has the better coverage and press traits that we're probably gonna need. But his strength is crap. Um, but then we pick right again away in the third. So what we could do is, because the cornerback position definitely needs some work too. I'd say let's go ahead and take it. Worst case scenario, he gets groomed as a replacement for Brian Poole. Best case scenario, he ends up developing and we can move him to the two position unless he just really stands out and does some work in the season. So Brian Hope be our third player of the draft, and we get a 70 normal overall cornerback. He was ranked 29th overall, though, so definitely still a first round talent. 91 speed. Those coverage traits are terrible. Not much of a tackler either. He can catch, though. His awareness is there. Pretty high injury. Okay. Well, we could have done much worse. We've seen 4 or 5 cornerbacks go off the board before him already that don't even have the talent that he has. Rams go defensive line. Jags go cornerback Freddie Gresham. So we're still seeing players at his position that aren't quite as good as he is. Another halfback Courtney Ingram. He looked like another one that should have been serviceable. So that was the player we just looked at that was slightly better than our player, at least in terms of his coverage skill. Moving into the third round, Kerry Beverly. We see another quarterback, excuse me, come off the board. And actually, I think this might be the first quarterback of the draft, actually. Walt Mariani, 71 overall to the Raiders. Chase Wilson, guard. Bryson Westerman. Bryson Westerman, cornerback, 73 overall. He must have been the cornerback that I seen that had pretty solid zone coverage, press, and I think it was awareness. So he must have been the last solid one. As you can see, the rest of the draft is kind of a dud, unless we try to opt for later on with like our seventh round pick, someone that just has pretty good combine traits. Yeah, I don't really care for Martavis' speed, so that looks like probably the only addition we'll have until much later in the draft. Dean Nance. So we're seeing some quarterbacks start to come off in the third. Isaac Samuel. And this did not look like the draft to need a quarterback. Rich Day there to the Vikings. Lions go center. We're back on the board. So we can start taking a look at some of these players that are showing third round traits. Now that we are here, Jamal Adams we still have as a starter for us. This doesn't look like anybody that necessarily we need to draft. David Saxton still there. Shaden McCarthy, they have him as a. He's just. I don't like players that are age 24, mainly because after the first contract is up for them, it's basically no point with regression kicking in with really trying to reproduce. So they have to come in and basically be impact players. Can't really afford for them to have to wait and see them develop and things like that. So we can take a round one talented tight end that's a blocking tight end though. Jaden Rush, speed is man, speed is terrible. That's definitely why he's a blocking tight end. But he can jump. He's strong. We have Chris Herndon as the main go-to, so this would just be essentially like a sixth offensive lineman for us. That can be a way to go here in the third. So I would say right now is basically between Jaden Rush and Shaden McCarthy. So let's just take a quick look at the players we currently have there real quick. So we have Tyreek Hill now. Tyreek Hill, Jamison Crowder. He's going to be a slot. Quincy Enunwa did well as the second, basically as the wide receiver one for us. Could have been a lot better. Eli Rogers there, Josh Bellamy. So we have some players that are going to really fall off for us, but we don't really have anybody that is too young that we can count on. Whereas in the tight end side, Trayvon Wesco, Chris Herndon, it's a young group overall, but we can definitely probably round out more so there. We still have picks in the third and fourth where we can probably try to find one. Tight end seems to be pretty light, so let's go ahead and pick up Jaden Rush, and that'll help with the line as well. 77 overall tight end. He was ranked number 2 in true value. Speed, just as bad as we expected, 72, but you don't really see too many tight ends above like 80-ish overall for their speed. He can definitely block a bit. Acceleration is there. Okay. He should be able to get coached up if we can put together the kind of season I'm hoping we do. More quarterbacks starting to come off. Bills find them a 67 tight end. That's probably the best overall rating you're going to see for that position. Cornerbacks, Michael Clayton goes. Seahawks finally find a decent piece. Guard, Taj Bradshaw. Middle linebacker that's rated pretty decently comes off to the Ravens. So they continue to find pieces in that front seven. We should be able to start doing okay. Shaden McCarthy finally comes off. 68 overall. He goes to the Broncos. Nick Shaw gets picked up by the Packers. And then Allen Bradley. So we come to the end of the third round for us essentially. We have our final fifth round pick or final fifth pick within the first 100 here. We want to try to make the most of it. So basically after the third round, this is where you really need to try to find whatever gems you can. Let's take a look at our board real quick. And very few draftable players left. We did do a heavy focus on third round players within the first 3 rounds. So I'm going to have to really start relying on the first 2 traits in the combine that we picked up. So this is a matter of seeing what they can do really well. David Saxon is basically your intermediary to deep kind of receiver, but he's also one that's 24, so he'll have to pay dividends immediately. Doesn't necessarily have any traits that stand out. Boy, oh boy. Let's see. We got 2 linemen. You can say 3 if you want to count the tight end, and then we went to the defensive side. Not worth it. Maynard could look intriguing, but at 4.64, that's not great. We'll probably have to pull the trigger on this receiver. I mean, we do need somebody that at least is going to be quote unquote young, even though he's 24. He doesn't have the speed I'm really looking for, but we can do a lot worse right now than David Saxton. So he will become our final pick. He's a 67 overall, ranked number 72 in true talent. Better acceleration and speed. Nothing very impressive in terms of catching ability. And his route running is manageable, at least when it comes to the deep and medium routes. Well, we shall see what he's able to do for us and start putting together. At this point, we can go ahead and skip over quite a bit. We'll do a review, kind of where every team is picked once all the chips are off the board for us. So let's go ahead and advance to our next pick. This puts us at the 9th pick in the 4th round. At this point, draft board is pretty much non-existent. Most of the other receivers I had were deep threats as well. Okay, so he looks interesting, but he's rated 5th overall, 5th round talent overall anyways. Leonard Maynard still there. Couldn't really check out any of these players. Could use somebody else on the line, but Combine doesn't look great. I'm not really going to rely on them without seeing at least something that stands out, since I don't have any ratings on them. Nobody's Combine is necessarily impressive either so far. So, I mean, what we could do is, we know that Let's take a look at what our fallback options are because we know we have quite a few picks between the fifth, sixth, and seventh round. So we can pick up an extra fifth, a sixth next year. We can get a fourth and a seventh. It's better than kind of wasting a pick right now. So let's go ahead and do it. We'll give this to the Washington Redskins. We'll pick up some extra ammo for next season. Let's just see who they decide to go with. Marco Isaac, okay. Sure, there was a reason they felt he'd be a great addition to the team. Taking a look at the fifth round now. A lot of wide receivers that I've seen before are still on the board. All right, so this is where basically though position grades can kind of go out the window for me. I want to really see what can be done in terms of who's really just standing out for us that we can pick. I want somebody that's really going to assist us with whatever it is that they do really well. So we'll need to pick up a running back fairly soon. Definitely remember we still need a fullback. Yeah, we'll come back to those one of our sixth or seventh round picks. Nothing really left here. One draftable person basically left there. Seventh round. Let's see what you got going on. Pass blocking's best trait. You're young. You got some agility to you. Not necessarily the strongest guard. So we need as much of an influx there as possible. Let's go ahead and not really miss out on picking up somebody that could be serviceable. We'll shift around where we need to. So 60 overall, normal. Nothing that stands out. 75 strength. Pass blocking definitely best trait. So you'll probably be going to the practice squad or cut for sure. Sixth round. Start taking a look at the defensive side of things. Well, let's take a look at the halfbacks real quick. So you have some elusiveness. 4.34 speed. Okay. Okay. Don't mind that. Everything else isn't necessarily where I would like to see, but you can hit the corner pretty well if you can get there. Let's go ahead and take a shot on you. 54 overall. Not surprised. Shooting in the dark, but 93 speed I like, and it's not like we need you to start, so no real concerns there. Lions going between us. They pick up Hunter Gannon. Let's go secondary down. Very good acceleration. Speed is it's pretty much a whatever thing. You're overall really good. Yeah. Could be much worse. You fall off a bit, but at least you are scheme fitted. Yeah, cornerback is, man. Normally there's at least one hidden gem when it comes to at least even like combine stuff, but they are stretched thin. Jesus. All right, so we had some players that 4.74 speed. That's not bad at all, but that's definitely a linebacker. We don't really need, we need depth, so that can hold off. C plus moves. We don't really need a run stopper as much as we need somebody that can actually pass rush. No inside linebackers. A lot of run stopping linebackers there. So let's say go Myron Boykin. 59 overall. We're pretty much shooting in the dark here. And so I wanted to pour a lot more points into the last two rounds because I knew that we had all of these picks coming up. Like if you see, we still have what, five, including or not including this pick. Can still wait on getting a fullback. At least we know what his move is, but he's pretty lightweight. Does he have better speed than the other guy? He does. 18 bench reps. That's not even who I was looking for. Was it? Oh, somebody must have just grabbed him. I swear I seen a C plus again somewhere. Must have been thinking of one of the linemen that came off earlier. Okay, well, he doesn't have the speed, so even with the C plus, it's not like he's probably gonna get to the quarterback that often. Nothing was there, man. It's nothing else in this draft. Bare bones. Deep threat, deep threats. The rest of the draft's basically deep threats. We got a medium route runner in Carl Boykin. But you run a 4.63. I don't really want anybody that runs higher than a 4.55. We might have to just start taking a look at undrafted picks here. You're saying you're a speed rusher. Alright, we'll just get the best linebacker that we can possibly get. So I need somebody with speed though. So let's see who the quickest is. 4.7. 4.65. He's young. Physical traits kind of suck though. 5'11 isn't quite what I want to see there. 4.67. 4.61. Okay. You are a 4.61. You got pretty good size to you. Yeah, why not? 59 overall is what it is. So many shots in the dark. We'll go ahead and get you. Nobody's really grabbing you. At least we know you got a C plus. We'll do official breakdown and kind of analysis where I see us plugging all these players in the next video. Okay, 3 picks left. Quarterback wise, let's go ahead and take somebody with the most traits that we see. So I'd love to grab this A plus quarterback. Throw power. Short game is already pretty good, but he can throw under pressure. He'll probably mesh the best though with Tyreek Hill coming in. So he has the best arm. The issue being he doesn't really have any like solid passing skills. I mean, of course they're all undrafted, so we're just trying to find somebody that we hope can develop with the team. I can sacrifice a bit of the power though to see somebody that can throw under pressure as well as utilize the short game. Let's go with Aaron Lyle. He's a 52, so no surprises, but 77 and 84. 76 under pressure. So hopefully we manage. I'm not expecting Sam Darnold to be hurt with some of the new additions that we have. So I guess that would be the silver lining. Two more picks. Let's go ahead and get the fullback that we need. He happens to have the best combine as well. Is anybody all ones in here? Yeah, no, not really. But he's the best blocking. Seems to be fairly good. 70 overall. Lead block of 88. That's good to see. And maybe we can get something done with him. So I believe we have maybe one more pick. Yeah, so final pick of the draft for us. I do want to try to see if we might have to get some undrafted free agents. Um, the right side is terrible, but we'll fill in what we can fill in. I do want to try to see if I can find one more, at least really solid cornerback at a great combine. You can't really ever just trust the numbers alone. But if I can find somebody with really good speed or that is really strong with decent acceleration, I will take it. But to try to make the transition easy, I prefer them to go ahead and have a scheme fit for us. Doesn't look like we're going to come across. Really good speed, not great strength though. And he's 24, which basically means he needs to have an impact now. Well, the linebacking core still needed one on the right side. We can see if there's any gems there. Speed rusher. Okay, great speed, pretty good strength, good acceleration. Let's go ahead and do it. 54 overall, but he is hidden development. So there might be something to him. 85 speed, 80 acceleration, finesse moves are 56. All right, guys. Well, that puts our first draft in the books. I think we have done pretty well. We'll do an off-season overview, analysis, recap, whatever additional titles we want to put to it. But we're gonna start really thinking about what we want to do with some of these players we drafted. So let me know where you see some of these players fitting in best. What do you think we could potentially do to get the most out of them? We need to take a look at our scheme for next season as well, now that we know what talent we pretty much have in place here. So drop a comment, let me know what your thoughts are so that we can have the best sophomore season possible. And I will keep in tune. Hopefully we'll be looking to start updating every 2 to 3 days from now on. But with that said, thank you for watching. It's been your boy Jersey Boy, and I'm out.